Hello and welcome back to another episode of me playing Europa Universalis, MEIOU and Taxes. We are still playing Bohemia and going for the Empire. So, between episodes I checked a little bit around and I invested some stuff into provinces. So, for example, I invested some cash into the industries of Prague. I want to boost the city up. However, now what I also checked is the trade screen. Trade screen is extremely important if you want to understand what your country is importing or rather has difficulties to import. So as we can see here now that we are trading most of our income. Our international trade is mostly done in the Rhine node. So we are basically purchasing and selling a lot of stuff there. So the Rhine node is of course the next one here. To the left we are the Elbe. So within the Elbe node there's not much going on. The Danube is also not doing too much. So in fact I'm considering that we are going to recall the merchant here and we are going to move it to the Vistula here in Poland. And we're also going to send a diplomat here to hire our trade with them or get better deals with them. Because when we check the trade values here, so what you can see here is what we are selling and what our balance is basically. So selling is not what we are producing necessarily, it can also be products that we are reselling from somewhere. So interesting, however, is the balance. So as we can see in the almost most right corner row is that we have a negative balance in salt, consumer goods, naval products, exotics and delicacies. So delicacies and exotics is not surprising because we are barely producing any, and exotics we don't produce at all. However, a problem is the salt. So salt is something we need to survive, and we are not producing any salt at all. So what we need is a source of salt to have a more stable economy and therefore make our people even happier, because we have to import everything, and if you import everything it's going to be more expensive. So even though our life happiness and fulfillment here is 169 and the residents have 140, which is really good, it could still be better. So now what we want to do is we want to check out where we can get salt. I already know that we can get a lot of salt from Krakow, but what I want to show you is how we can find out. So we make a map mode, we go to trade values, and then we check for salt. And then we are going to check like production here, and we are going with the Europe here, and we go with an exponential calculation. There we go. And now we can see the largest salt producer in Europe. So Castile has large salt. There's some in fact here in Salzburg. Yeah. Salzburg is of course a fitting name. Salzburg is German for salt castle, more or less. So obviously there's salt. But obviously also there's salt in Krakow. I knew that already. It's a very big mine for salt, like 200 of 240 with a high profit rate. Normally I would like to conquer here, but there's nothing into what we are going to do because we want to consolidate the empire. So getting Salzburg and integrated into the empire might be a good idea. Alternatively, of course, Venice. So Venice is producing also a lot of salt. Let's check it out. Output 50 units of salt, which are selling for a pretty good margin, like 147, which is a profit margin of 63 at the end. very, very, very good. Salzburg has produced so much. 65 units with a profit of 54. Yeah. So the region where we are is extremely poor in regards to salt. So we have to... It's also going to be a long-term problem, in fact, because we already have now a deficit of, I think, 150? What was it again? Let's check it out again. Yeah, 146 is our deficit already. So we would need like 3 times the amount Salzburg is producing to fix our economy alone. Oh yeah, that's going to be rough here, because our population is going to spike relatively quickly. So we need to really find sources of salt which are not yet exploited too much. So for example, what we could do here is could do another calculation here. No, not. Is there anything in here? No. We can go for economy map mode, and then rock salt deposits is only the terrain modifier. We want to know the potential mine, and then in Europe. Yes. But I'm afraid 1,200. Yeah, I think that's a coal deposit there. Okay. Let's stick to that. So Oberstift has apparently a pretty big mine for 1,200 Münster. I think you are coal, or? Yeah. Basically, it's the north of the later Ruhr, basically, which had easy deposits to mine. There's also something here, but I think that's also coal. Yeah, all the big deposits are coal and not salt. Here's also one. No, it's metal in this case. And this one is also metal, I know. That's a copper mine in Sweden. Hugely profitable in the Middle Ages. Yeah, okay, this map mod is not helping at all. What do we have here? I think coal too. Yeah, it's all coal. And coal is not producing salt, of course. Coal is producing fuel, which is needed for a lot of other products too. But, what else can we do here? We need salt. We have to find a source of salt for our empire here. What else do we have in economy? Rock salt deposit. Yeah, maybe let's check the deposits for once. So, European continent. Okay. So there are not many deposits apparently. So here's one. It's only size 60. Lüneburg, Magdeburg. It's only 120. What else do we have here? 120. And then the provinces down here, Tyrol. 240, but Tyrol also has, I think, metal. Yeah, salt and metal, so that's not helpful. What else do we have here? This is Salzburg, yeah, 180. And Landshut. These ones here, 60, yeah, it's really not big. Yeah, that's going to be a big problem. Could check for sea salt, which is maybe easier to access. So, economy, sea salt side, Europe. Should of course be a lot of coastal provinces here. That's not correct, because I think this one also has a sea salt side. Yeah. Ah, it's only salt. I think there's a small bug in the mod here, because it has sea salt and salt. Yeah, sea salt making a difference here. But let's check the provinces. We can see like this one, 135. So we could, for example, get this one. And this one has 135. And so these two definitely are possible to expand into. Is there a different map mode for the normal salt deposit? So we have rock salt and sea salt. Yeah, this is a small bug in the mod. I think the deposit got renamed at some point and it wasn't consistent. So let's go back here, salt. Production again. Yeah, I think we definitely have to go into the Alps here to get some salt there. Everything else is probably not an option. Of course, there's a lot of salt produced here at the coast due to the fact that there are all small sea salt industries always. It's like size 50. How much do they produce? They produce, yeah, like 7 units here. But it's like every province. Every province is producing 7 to 10 or 20 sea salt or salt, which is a lot if you count it together. But we want to expand into something big. There's the Provence here has, yeah, they are producing a lot here. Yeah, 53 here and 44 here. So they are really getting rich on salt. And I wish we had access to anything. Yeah, this is definitely a topic for the next campaigns, that we try to think about how we could address that. We can, of course, be very greedy and try to take Krakow from Poland, which is producing 72 units of salt, and I think it has still room to expand a little bit. Yes, would be great. And there's also another province here which has 120, therefore producing another 24 salt. Yeah. Yeah, I think it even has a modifier here. Yeah, one of the oldest and most productive salt mines. Vilichka is the stuff of legends. Yeah. Hugely profitable. Salt mines were like the dream of taxations because it was easy. Like gold mines and silver mines could be easily taxed, and therefore that's a massive boon to the treasury of a state. Yeah, I think we can't solve that in the immediate future, but it's something we have to address, because that's going to only go up in price. I don't know, how's the price development in salt? It's slowly going down, minus 0.006. That's good. That's not going to stay. Yeah. So let's continue and just wait for things to happen.